Are you uncomfortable with conflict and try and avoid it at all costs? Or are you able to handle difficult situations with ease? Well, stick with me because this week and throughout this entire month, I'm going to help you to understand and manage conflict. Hi, this is Grant Herbert, Emotional Intelligence Speaker and Trainer of the Year and Master Coach Trainer. And today we're going to embark on another journey throughout the competency areas of relationship management by learning how to effectively resolve disagreements. There's a lot of conflict in the world right now, whether that just be in your own home, whether it's on social media, or whether it's actually a conflict between countries. Everywhere you look right now, there's conflict. And it's been that way for many, many years. Right now, because we have a pandemic going on, we have a lot of military interventions happening, it's escalating. And it's becoming a culture now where people are more getting into conflicts. Conversations on social media alone, I see so many people who are unable to let other people have an opinion. So therefore, their own internal uncertainties and all the things that we've learned about before create a situation that's very uncomfortable, where people are having arguments. And in some cases, and this happened to me yesterday, where someone was having a conversation with me that was escalating and I couldn't understand why. Because really, when I looked at it, we were saying exactly the same thing. So being able to understand how to navigate conflict and manage and resolve these conversations, these situations, is a crucial skill set that everybody needs to work on right now. So what is this thing called conflict management? We all know what conflict is. It's all about disagreeing. It's all about an uncomfortable situation. But conflict management is effectively negotiating and resolving disagreements. One of the biggest challenges I see, and I used to see a lot in my own life as well, is that not only is there a lot of conflict, but there's a lot of conflict that has never been resolved. Now, that can start with your own internal conflict, where you're conflicted with yourself. However, we're in the competency area of relationship management, so relationships are being damaged by all this unresolved conflict. So what I want to do this month is give you some things to think about and some practical skills that you can apply so that you can feel more comfortable when conflict arises. So to do that and to get that started, what I want to do this week is just unpack with you 5 key principles that we need to take hold of around this whole area of conflict so that we can then step into the other weeks and be empowered with these strategies. Number 1 is conflict is inevitable. Sometimes, we look at the world and we look at what we're doing and we think, wouldn't it be nice if everything was fantastic and there was no conflict? But here's the thing, because as we know, people are emotional beings. There's going to be disagreements all the time. There's going to be exaggerated and sometimes over emotional responses to things that happen. So conflict is inevitable. There's always going to be a butting of heads, like a couple of antelope in in Africa. They're fighting over their territory. So they're going to butt heads. And this is going to happen in the world. So the first thing we need to understand is it's not about eliminating conflict, because that's a quest which is going to lead to tears. It's about learning to roll with it. It's learning to navigate conflict because it's going to be there. Sometimes I used to put my head in the sand and think, well, when I pop up, all the conflict will be gone and things will be great. And you are probably thinking, I've done that too, but it doesn't work. What tends to happen is it festers and it escalates. So we need to be able to manage it. We need to be able to recognize that it's there. And the other thing is that conflict is actually a good thing. If we all just agreed on everything, then we're not going to move too far forward. So when we learn to embrace conflict in a healthy way and navigate through it, we tend to be able to remove this whole thing around conflict and being something that I don't want to have anything to do with. Number 2 is relationships are priority. So right now we're in the relationship management quadrant of social and emotional intelligence. We're talking about being able to effectively manage ourselves and our relationships in a way that is mutually beneficial and, where possible, is at the best level that the relationship can be with what's going on around it at that particular time. So when we're looking at the topic of conflict, the first thing we need to do is elevate the relationship up where it needs to be, and realizing that the relationship is the most important thing that we want to keep. A lot of times, I just wanted to be right. So the conflict was all about me getting my point across and proving that the other person was wrong. And when I shift that and I go, no, what's most important here is the relationship. So my behavior needs to be healthy. My emotional intelligence needs to be used so that I can create an environment where there's the best possible chance for the conflict to happen, to be resolved, and then the relationship to continue. So let's look at conflict as something that is necessary in a relationship. However, the relationship is above it all, and we want to do what we can to protect that relationship at all costs. Number 3 is to focus on the issues. Now, I remember years ago being taught this, where they said to resolve a conflict, we want to take the personal out of it. So we want to focus on the issue and not the person. And I used to think, yes, but it's the person that's right in front of me right now. It's the person that's saying things that I don't agree with. However, having now learnt what I've learnt around the area of emotional intelligence and social intelligence, I understand this way better. When we focus on the issue, we are taking away that personal attack. We're taking away that relationship killing situation of people going, well, they're having a go at me. Their conflict is with me. And most times it's not. It's with a behavior. It's with an outcome. It's with a situation. So by looking at that with our logical brain and being able to regulate our responses to things that are said, to things that we see, and focus on solving the issue, not on what the person is doing, what the person has said, how they have wronged you, etc. Now, I'm the first to let you know that I'm a work in progress in this every single time. Why? Because, as I said before, we are all emotional beings, and that includes me. Just because I'm the Emotional Intelligence Speaker and Trainer of the Year and a subject matter expert in this area, that doesn't make me perfect. Far from it. And it's never the goal. It's still a work in progress. So the reason why this is in the 4th quadrant is because we need to be able to go back through and develop our own self-awareness and our self-management competencies, our social awareness, really importantly, empathy, before we get into these wrongly called soft skills, so that we have the skills and strategies to be able to focus on the issue without the emotion stealing that opportunity from us. Number 4 is seek to understand. You know, we've all heard this before. Instead of seeking to be understood, the first thing we want to do is seek to understand. This is where we do need to use those skills of empathy to be able to walk a mile in the other person's moccasins and see it through their lens. So by seeking first to understand in a logical way, we're going to collect the information that we need so that we can then resolve the conflict effectively. In the coming weeks, I'm going to actually teach you a practical strategy for having a conversation that helps you to stay in the logical brain and gets a resolution of the conflict. Right now, though, I just want us to understand that this is all about seeing things from all perspectives, not just from our own. Number 5 is go for the triple win. A lot of times, in conflict, what we want to do is we just want to get the win. We want to be right. We want to be proved, validated, whatever it is. And then we go to that next level of, okay, I want it to be a win for me and a win for you as well. But the triple win takes it to the next level. The triple win is a win for you, a win for them, and a win for the greater good. So often in conflict, there is collateral damage. So the people that are actually in the conflict are not the only people to be hurt. So when we seek to resolve conflict, looking through that lens of, I want this to help me, I want it to help the other person, and I want to mitigate and, lower the effect that it's having on all the people around us. I want the resolution to be good for everybody. Then and only then have we effectively resolved that disagreement. It is possible to effectively resolve disagreements without damaging the relationships to a point of not being able to return. And to do that, there's a certain amount of skill that we need to have. There's new strategies that we need to learn. So on top of our emotional intelligence, we actually have a process to go through so that we can get the result that we want. We can get that triple win. As I said, over the next month, what we're going to do is pull apart conflict management and look at it in incremental steps to give you the skills that you need to be able to do this. Well, that's it from me for another week. Join me again next week as we continue this conversation around conflict management by helping you to understand the different conflict resolution styles, and to help you to understand what is your go-to style and how you can use other styles to get a different result. I'll see you then.